What's up, guys? This is Tim from Total Audio, and we got two amplifiers here that kind of look similar power, 3000, 3200, but if you hook one up to the wrong thing, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm not gonna let that happen to you. The QS3000 is a full range amplifier, and PRV is pretty honest about this. It is not for subwoofers. The QS3000 is a mids and highs amp. It will tear your face off with mid-range and percussion on 10s, 12s, drivers, tweeters, anything but subwoofers. It is a mid and highs amp. If you try to run bass on this thing, you're gonna be pretty disappointed. It is not a bass amp, it's not pretending to be, and it is definitely not built like one. The RS3200 bass, this is a subwoofer amplifier. This is what you beat up with subwoofers, no problem. The RS3200 bass is a sledgehammer for breaking windshields. The QS3000 is a scalpel for precision, mids, and highs. All right, let's do what most people don't do. Let's open these covers up. We're not scared about no warranty. We're here to show you these amplifiers, and besides the size, once you take a look inside, it gets a little more obvious how they're different. Before we pop these open, let's just put one on top of the other so you can get a better idea of the difference in size. The RS3200 is about 1/3 bigger than the QS3000. The QS3000 has 4-gauge power inputs. It doesn't pull crazy amount of current. It's not built to handle crazy amount of current that subwoofers are going to make it pull. The RS3200, 0-gauge power inputs. That is there for a reason, my friends. It is designed to pull current. Take a look at the RCA jacks here. This, you got a typical RCA that a mids and highs amp would have. Here we have Tiffany style RCA jacks. Very sturdy. If this thing's around any vibration, it's gonna hold up very well. Also, the crossovers you can see here, while this high pass filter does go down to 20 Hertz, it's really not gonna perform well down there. This one here you can see goes down to 5 Hertz. Beautiful. There's also bass boost, and then a frequency controller to decide which frequency you want to boost. Alright, so check this out. We got both amplifiers open here. As you can see, it has one toroidal coil, a couple decent capacitors here, and some filters here on the side. Pretty small. This thing doesn't have the demand and heavy current that a bass amplifier would have. So this is perfect for mids and highs. But for bass, you need a little bit more. So if we look at the bass amp, if you compare, you have two of these, much more copper on them. They're more spaced out. You got 3 caps versus 2. All right, these are 160 volt caps on this one, and these are 100 volt caps. And then the filters, you see you have 4 of them. Inductors. This is for your output. It's basically the heart of the amplifier, so it helps current handling. Less heat is more stable voltage. You got higher power headroom versus the QS3000 with just one. Basically, it's like the alternator of the amplifier. So here you got 2, here you got 1. 2 is always better than 1. We're just letting you know that this amplifier is more suited for bass versus this one that is best suited for mids and highs. Next, we look at the caps. Okay, we have 2 100 volt caps. Here we have 360 volt caps. So these are the power reservoirs of the amplifier. They store the energy from here. It gets transferred from here to the caps. Having these big caps and having more of them prevents voltage from dropping inside the amplifier. Have much more rail capacity for subwoofers hitting with this amplifier. So it's basically like here you have a 2-gallon tank of fuel. Here you have a 1-gallon tank of fuel, which a small efficient car, mids and highs, doesn't need that much fuel, but a giant truck, bass application, needs more fuel. For mids and highs, the QS3000 is perfect for the job. But as you can see, it lacks proper components to keep up with a bass application. The RS3200 is literally built to survive the abuse of subwoofers. And this would kill this on subwoofers. Use this, people, if you have bass. This is great. If you got mid-range, mid-bass speakers, compression drivers, this is great. Do not use this on your mids and highs or your compression drivers, because this thing cannot play that. It doesn't have the frequency response that this has for the high frequency. There is, of course, people that will argue that the QS line is marketed as a full range amplifier. It is a full range amplifier. It will play bass. However, it's not the ideal application for the QS line of amplifiers. This thing right here is perfect for mids and highs, 6s, 8s, 10s, 12s, compression drivers, even tweeters you can put on this amp. Comes in 1 and 2 ohms, depending on what you're putting on it. This is great for mids and highs. This is a very strong amplifier for mids and highs. Don't go calling PRV saying, my amp blew up because I was running it on bass. Not the ideal application. Get the RS bass amplifier. The RS3200 bass is made for subwoofers. Don't go putting this on your mid-range or mid-bass speakers thinking you're gonna get more lows. Will you get more lows? Sure. The speaker might not be able to handle that. The amplifier might not give you the vocals you're looking for because it's not designed for that. Not the ideal application. The ideal application for the RS dedicated bass amplifiers is bass, subwoofers. This is a 1 ohm amplifier. It only comes 1 ohm. This is great for 2 dual 4 ohm subwoofers or 1 dual 2 ohm subwoofer if you have a real powerful one. This would be great for that. That's it for today, guys. Simple comparison of these 2 amplifiers. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave some comments. Have you used the RS amplifiers? Have you used the QS amplifiers? The RS amplifiers are also available 500 watts up to about 8200 watts, I believe. Then you also have the QS line that starts at 400 watts all the way up to 16,000 watts. So there's really something for everybody. Make sure you use the right amplifier, all right?